You might not know this, but this game actually used to be a physics engine. Back in the early days of Roblox in 2006, it was just a bare-bones sandbox mainly used to simulate destruction. But since then, a lot of new ideas and features have been brought to the platform to really diversify the experience. Some of those features were implemented officially, but a few of them were actually invented by developers of the community itself. And some of those game mechanics have utterly transformed the entire platform as we know it. I'll get to those features a bit later, but first, you need to understand a bit more about Roblox's history as a physics engine. That's right, destruction physics were one of the main appeals of the game back in its early years. Rockets and bombs were the main weapons of choice. You see, most maps back then were entirely destructible. With such explosive power and cities that were built to fall, players forced Roblox to the brink of destruction before it even had the chance to break into the mainstream. Destruction physics are still quite prevalent, even today on Roblox, but they have evolved quite a bit over... it's been nearly 2 whole decades? We have all sorts of awesome looking explosions now, and sometimes the detail is even pretty insane for Roblox standards. And many of these other Roblox game mechanics I want to tell you about have also evolved a lot. Some of them have stayed the same since the very beginning, but others have been entirely lost to history and forgotten. But don't worry, that's why I'm here. And I'll refresh your memory about those ones a little bit later. So anyways, explosions weren't the only weapons back in 2006. Players were also equipped with bouncy balls and slingshots that they could slug at each other. You might have seen some deadly bouncy balls like this before somewhere, but do not mistake them for blade ball. These balls don't clip on your enemy at all. In fact, they're extremely inaccurate. Despite its flaws, however, this was the earliest form of one of Roblox's most important game mechanics, PvP. That's right, it's a commonly overlooked feature, but it's a crucial mechanic of most multiplayer games. And I'm not even talking about Roblox here. I mean, just imagine this website without player versus player combat. Roleplay has always been pretty popular, and it accounts for a significant portion of the Roblox player base. But without PvP, the total of active users here would probably be halved at the very least. David and Eric knew that PvP had to evolve so the game could succeed. And to further that point, a year later, in 2007, swords were added to the player's arsenal. This marked the birth of a community that thrived for over a decade. The classic sword fighting community. In fact, while we're on the topic of communities, there are actually many other old Roblox game mechanics that had communities form around them like this one, and I'll talk about one of them next. But the sword fighting community was very competitive. And they fought in many arenas to find their match and claim the title of PvP God over the many years they were around. Unfortunately, the community rapidly fell out of popularity as it was overshadowed by newer, more popular PvP games. And today, competitive classic sword fighting is really a relic of the past. Most sword fighting games have less than 50 active players at this point, and the rest are completely abandoned. But luckily, this community didn't suffer the same fate. If you have a keen eye, you might have seen a few skate park games around on Roblox. But you might not know this. It was actually a game mechanic officially introduced way back in 2010. A pretty tight community was formed from this one too. However, as Roblox rolled out more updates, by 2019, the skateboard game mechanic was completely broken. But not all was lost, because in 2020, thanks to Star Marine, his team of devs, and the rally of support from one of the biggest YouTubers on Roblox, skateboarding was saved. And this beloved classic game mechanic was born again. Dare I say, it was even an improvement upon the original in my opinion. And after Skate Park was released, many smaller skateboard groups and games began to appear everywhere. Needless to say, I think the community was revived. However, it looks like the skateboard gears, originally introduced by Roblox, still remain off sale. And it seems they still don't function like they used to. And unfortunately, those old skateboards will probably never be fixed. But that's just another case of how Roblox gears have become completely useless these days. Newer players might be curious why these items even exist at all. I mean, you can't even use them in 99% of Roblox games around today. So what purpose do they actually serve beyond profile cosmetics? Well, a few years ago, purchasing these gears actually used to give you a competitive advantage. You see, while being a physics engine, this game actually used to be much more of a sort of social sandbox back in the early 2010s. And all these different gears were released as David and Eric's way of spicing things up a bit more. Many games had gears enabled at the time, so players would purchase the most overpowered ones from the catalog, and they caused a bit of a riot. So obviously that didn't last, and the developers began disabling gears to keep their players in check. Gears had many different functions aside from PvP though, and they actually introduced many new interesting game mechanics, one of which was often quite a hindrance in my experience. And yet, it was always sold as a game pass in nearly every game I encountered, the boombox. For those of you wondering how this could be a hindrance, Whoa. Huh? Buddy, if you play that, I'm gonna get copyright struck.
Chavez.
Alright then, I'll see you later.
It's raining tacos. Raining tacos.
Yeah, so that's basically what we had to deal with on a pretty frequent basis.
Chavez.
If you bought the Boombox Game Pass in any of these Roblox games, you probably also had a list of loud, annoying, and or bypassed audio IDs. This was probably your best bet to ruin someone's day back then. But I suppose there was one alternative if you could afford that Game Pass.
Do you ever suffer from violent tendencies? Do you see this girl and just want to... You just want to take all your anger out on this guy? Well, ladies and gentlemen, look no further. Today, we control the world together. I have admin commands here. So, I mean, if I want to just go in this house, I can. If I want to have a giant slumber party with everyone, I can. If I decide I hate all these people and I want them dead, I can.
Yes, admin commands. This is one of the most iconic Roblox game mechanics. Admin commands are a crucial function of most games you see these days. Its main purpose is to help developers maintain order, but it often has the opposite effect in the wrong hands. It's pretty common these days, but the oldest record of admin commands I could find is from back in 2011. It was primitive then, but a couple years later we were blessed with the first real taste of what admin powers really have to offer. Cole's Admin House. Yep, this little happy home has a pretty bad reputation. You can basically... Think of it as a... sort of like a superhero battleground for admin abuse. But speaking of battlegrounds, there are actually two crucial game mechanics that these games run on. And it's not just battlegrounds that use them either. These game mechanics can actually be found all over the website, but without them, most of the games you see on modern Roblox couldn't even exist. So to better understand how those game mechanics came to be, I need to share a little personal experience. This game here is the first showcase I ever played. I only recently rediscovered it while I was searching for that missing Roblox developer in my previous video. And that's because it actually won in the showcase category at the 3rd annual Bloxy Awards.
A beautiful showcase of modern Robloxian art.
But way back in 2014, this game introduced me to a mechanic I fell in love with for years to come. And I think it's best if I just show you. This sort of dynamic movement wasn't very common on Roblox a decade ago, and it had me completely hooked as a kid. I think a lot of other people must have also enjoyed it too, because I started seeing it around a lot back then. Skydiving in games about surviving an airplane crash, skydiving to a winner's island. There were even skydiving simulators that started popping up. This was pretty innovative for the time, but it wasn't long before another talented Roblox developer invented a similar game mechanic that changed Roblox PvP forever.
Leave me alone!
According to the Roblox wiki, the game titled Ragdoll Engine was first introduced in 2018, but there have been a lot of stolen re-uploads of the game since then, as you can see.
Oh, hell no, man.
Before Ragdoll Engine though, Roblox deaths could only look like this. And when it released, we got games like this. But it's been a few years, and now death can look like this.
I'm gonna have a heart attack.
It's hard to imagine Roblox without Ragdoll at this point, and it's crazy to think that it wasn't even really an intended feature. It was all thanks to this one developer's breakthrough, and it spread far across the platform. But Ragdoll isn't the only game mechanic to revolutionize Roblox, and these last two game mechanics that I'm going to talk about did just that. And this next one is actually what allowed game mechanics like skydiving and skateboard to even exist in the first place. Emotes didn't always look like this, you know. They weren't even always like this. But let's take it a step further than that. Running didn't always look like this either. Nope, it didn't even look like this. Or this. In 2006, running looked like this. That's right, it wasn't until 2007 that we even had walking animations. And as you've probably noticed, Roblox animations have evolved quite a bit over the past 2 decades. But from Battlegrounds games to roleplay games, and even just games about animations, none of that was possible until the animation editor was added to Roblox Studio back in 2013. And since 2013, we went from R6 to R15 to Rthro, and even recently we got animated faces. But who knows? There might even be a new animation rig coming in the future. So if you're watching in the future and I'm right, I reckon I earned a little like and subscribe. Or just leave a comment that you made it this far. But you know, I think you should do it anyway, because I'm pretty chill like that.
This dude in his damn Tesla. Yo, bro, you can't park here. Seriously, you gotta skedaddle. You want me to call? didn't realize you were chill like that. Alright, you're good.
But on to the final game mechanic. And after seeing all the others, you might be wondering, what is the Roblox game mechanic of all time? Many games use this one, and it's gained a lot of popularity recently. Similar to a few of these other game mechanics, it was not an intended Roblox feature either. These billions of visits and hundreds of thousands of active players are no mere coincidence though. Many people have called it the game mechanic ever, and its name is Random Number Generation. RNG for short. Yep, gotcha. Come on guys, it's pretty obvious. I never said it was the best. Why are you booing me? You know I'm right.